You're born in darkness, not the poetic kind, the smoky, suffocating dark of a one-room medieval hut. The air tastes like damp straw and old ash. A single tallow candle flickers as your mother, exhausted and terrified, grips a splintered wooden beam above her head. There's no doctor, no clean tools, no understanding of what's happening inside her body. Only a midwife who has learned everything through trial, error, and bodies she couldn't save. The floor beneath her is packed dirt, slick with moisture. The heat of the fire mixes with winter air leaking through the walls. You hear shouting prayers, charms whispered to keep demons away, and the midwife barking orders as she reaches for the same knife she used last week to cut meat. Your first moments in this world are a gamble. 1 in 10 women in some regions die giving birth, and if the midwife's hands aren't steady or clean, both of you may be joining that statistic. But even if you survive this room, the world waiting outside is no safer. People love to fantasize about natural birth. No machines, no hospitals, just a warm, earthy connection to life. Except there's nothing warm or gentle here. You're born into a world where nobody understands infections, blood loss, or how germs spread. The midwife may blow into your mother's mouth to give strength, smear herbs across her skin, or tie iron charms to the rafters to block hostile spirits. If the labor stalls, she might shake your mother violently, press her belly with full weight, or even try to pull you out with her bare hands. The goal isn't comfort, it's survival. Pain is expected, screaming is normal, and death is an accepted outcome. There's no sterile linen, no boiling water, no trained professionals, just improvised knowledge and a desperate hope that the body simply works. But even after the final push, danger doesn't fade. Because the moment you enter the world, your problems begin, and they're far worse than anything you can imagine. You don't realize it yet, but your mother is still in danger long after you're born. The midwife wipes her hands on her skirt, the same cloth she wore while tending animals, and checks for bleeding. If the blood doesn't stop, there's nothing she can do. No transfusion, no surgical tools, no knowledge of how infections spread or how to treat them. Childbed fever, postpartum hemorrhage, obstructed labor. These words don't exist yet, but the consequences do. A single cut from a dirty knife can kill. A retained placenta can turn fatal in hours. A fever can rise so fast that by the next sunrise, your mother may already be wrapped in a burial shroud. Women worked in fields until the last weeks of pregnancy. They were malnourished, exhausted, chronically ill, and expected to survive one of the most dangerous events of their lives alone. And yet, somehow, you're alive. But survival is not guaranteed, because your own battle begins the moment you're placed on the cold earth. You're slippery, cold, and confused. The midwife lifts you by your tiny arms. Carefulness is a luxury, and wipes you with whatever cloth is nearby. Honey might be smeared in your mouth to strengthen you. Wine or vinegar might be rubbed onto your skin as a disinfectant, even though it burns. The knife that cuts your cord, it hasn't been cleaned. Not properly. Not ever. Tetanus lurks in the dirt. Infection lurks on every surface. And if you don't cry loudly enough, the midwife may shake you or slap your back, believing you need to wake up your spirit. You're wrapped tightly in old cloth, not swaddled gently, but bound like a tiny mummy to keep your fragile bones from bending and to stop you from touching the filth around you. If you make it through your first hour, congratulations. But soon the village priest arrives, and his urgency tells you everything you need to know about your chances of survival. Before your mother can rest, before anyone can celebrate, a priest or a midwife acting in his place rushes to your side. Your survival is so uncertain that the community doesn't dare wait. If you die unbaptized, your soul is believed to drift in limbo forever. So the ceremony happens immediately, sometimes within minutes, sometimes with water scooped from a filthy bucket, sometimes done in secret by women because no priest could arrive in time. You're sprinkled, wiped, and prayed over while still covered in birth fluids. The adults around you aren't thinking about your comfort. They're thinking about eternity. They fear God more than germs, mostly because they've never heard of germs. If you cough, they pray harder. If your skin looks pale, someone tightens their grip on you. Nobody says it aloud, but everyone knows the truth. You might not survive the night. And once you're considered spiritually safe, your physical safety becomes the next challenge, starting with what they do to your tiny body. You don't get soft blankets or baby clothes. Instead, you're wrapped tightly. Medieval swaddling is not meant to soothe you. It's meant to control you. Your arms are bound straight to your sides. Your legs are pressed together. Layer after layer of cloth pins you into perfect stillness. The idea is simple. A rigid baby becomes a straight, strong adult. Movement is seen as dangerous, a path to deformity. You can't scratch yourself. You can't roll. You can barely breathe deeply. If you soil your wrappings, nobody rushes to change them. Linens are precious. Washing is rare. Hours or days might pass before anyone unwraps you. Animals wander freely through the house. Chickens, goats, dogs. And the floor is rarely clean. Swaddling keeps you from touching any of it. You lie still, staring into smoky rafters and listening to the moans of your recovering mother. If you cry too much, you may be rocked violently or hung in a crude cradle near the fire. But even this tight cocoon can't protect you from the true killers. Disease. Your biggest enemies aren't wolves or raiders. They're things you can't see. Dirty water, spoiled food, unwashed hands, and parasites fill your world. Diarrhea alone kills more children than winter. Dung piles sit near the house. Rats run across the roof beams. Fleas live in the straw you sleep on. If a village outbreak hits, smallpox, measles, whooping cough, there's nothing anyone can do. Entire families lose children within days. No antibiotics, no rehydration salts, no understanding of contagion. Your tiny immune system fights a losing war. A simple fever could end you. A cough could turn into pneumonia. A swollen belly from parasites is normal, so normal that nobody sees it as a crisis. By age 5, up to 30% of children in some areas are dead. And if you survive, you're one of the hardy ones. But your struggles are far from over. Because soon, you'll need to eat something. And that's another ordeal entirely. If your mother can't nurse you, and after a brutal birth, she often can't, you're passed to a wet nurse. She might be healthy. She might not. She might nurse 10 babies at once. You get whatever milk she has left. If you're weaned early, the alternatives are grim. Thin porridge made with contaminated water, animal milk from cows full of infections, or chewed bread, where an adult pre-masticates a chunk and spits it into your mouth. It's not affection, it's survival. In some regions, babies are given beer or watered-down wine because it's safer than the water. The alcohol is mild, but constant. Your body adapts because it has no choice. Your stomach aches constantly. You cry from hunger or gas, and older relatives assume you're cursed or possessed. But you're just a medieval infant trying to digest food your body was never meant to handle. And as soon as you can walk, a new expectation appears. You're no longer just a child. You're a worker. You're barely steady on your feet when adults begin handing you tasks. Childhood isn't a protected phase. It's a brief moment before responsibility crushes you. At 5 or 6, you fetch water from a distant well feed animals, gather firewood, chase geese, clean tools, spin thread, or weed fields. If you refuse, you're punished. If you fail, you're punished. If you cry, nobody has time to care. Danger is everywhere. You can drown at the river. You can fall into a well. You can be kicked by a horse, gored by a pig, or crushed under a cart. And if you're injured, the local healer might smear herbs on your wound, or leeches, and hope for the best. By 7, you're expected to act like a miniature adult. Work shapes your spine, your lungs, your worldview. You age before your time. But even in this hard life, you still want to play. And medieval playtime? That comes with its own risks. Kids will always find ways to play, even in misery. You join others in the village yard. There are no toys, no softballs, no safe playgrounds. You swing wooden sticks like swords, throw stones, chase chickens, climb unstable fences, and run barefoot through mud filled with sharp debris. Accidents happen constantly. Someone loses a finger to a hatchet while helping. Someone breaks an arm falling from a tree. Someone gets bitten by a dog. Cuts fester. Bones heal crooked. Adults shrug. Life goes on. Sometimes you play games mimicking battles you've watched real soldiers fight. You've seen blood before you even understand what death means. And as you grow taller, the expectations shift. Suddenly, you're no longer allowed to play at all, because now, your life takes a darker turn. By the time you enter your early teens, everyone treats you as fully grown. Girls may be promised in marriage at 12 or 13. Boys are sent to serve a master, apprentice under a craftsman, or work long days in fields. Education is rare. Most children never learn to read. Your world is work, hunger, cold, and responsibility you never asked for. If you're lucky, you get a kind master. If you're not, you suffer in silence, and the law rarely protects you. Your body is still developing, but society doesn't care. You're expected to contribute, obey, and survive. And if you reach 20, you're already older than many of your childhood friends ever got to be. But despite the brutality, families cling to hope. And that's where this story ends. After all the pain, fear, and struggle, a strange truth emerges. Medieval families loved fiercely because life was fragile. Every surviving child was a miracle. Every mother who lived through childbirth was celebrated. Faith carried people through tragedies they couldn't explain. You look back on your impossible journey, from that smoky birthroom to the dangerous fields, from deadly illnesses to adult burdens, and realize that surviving childhood wasn't expected. It was exceptional. Today, you live in a world with medicine, clean water, safety, schooling, and rights that medieval people couldn't imagine. But remembering their hardships adds weight to our comfort, and a kind of respect for the resilience of those who came before us. And if you think this was dark, just wait until you see how medieval people handled sickness, death, and burial.